is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Are you tired of your usual barbershop experience? Stop into Scissors and Scotch today. I know what you're thinking. Drink during a haircut? Don't worry. First comes the precision cut from one of their experienced barbers, followed by your complimentary cocktail in their upscale lounge. Scissors and Scotch blends your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. And now you can earn $10 off by simply mentioning the ticket. And if you're an existing member, still mention the ticket for an exclusive offer. Offer valid at Lincoln location only. Scissors and Scotch, located just south of 30th and Yankee Hill, and online at lincoln.scissorscotch.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of snow this morning, then probably sunny skies this afternoon. We'll see a high around 24. Tonight, decreasing cloud cover and calm winds, a low around 7. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze, and afternoon high near 34. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards just south of 48th and Holdridge.
You're listening to Bock the Blackshirt.
Terrell Farley. Defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror. Number 43.
And Jake Bockoven. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer.
Welcome to Bock the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. It is December the 1st, 2025. And the snow is here, Bock.
That's right.
Well, football for the Huskers will be coming to an end. One more game, Bock, which is the bowl game, which we don't know where we're going to go, Bock. But as we all know, DC John Butler is out after one season as Nebraska defensive coordinator. For the second straight year, Bock, we will be searching for another defensive coordinator. Phil Snow will serve as the interim DC. Bock, did you see this coming?
I wouldn't say that I completely saw it coming. I thought it definitely would be a possibility. I think that there obviously needs some changes to be made. And then there's a lot of different reactions to this. I think it's interesting. Some people think that, yeah, changes need to be made. This rushing offense was terrible. Let's get something else in here. Others more along my line of thinking of, I think some continuity would be nice. I think, at some point, you got to believe in what you're kind of preaching as far as, hey, we're heading in the right direction. We've got the people in place, constantly kind of making changes. It's going to be a fourth defensive coordinator, a third defensive coordinator in 4 years here. Obviously, you've already made moves on offensive coordinator size. It just feels like to me a little bit like John Butler's fallen on the sword here, and I don't know if not to completely say that it's not warranted. Obviously, the last couple of games have been pretty rough, but I'm not so much sure that his side of the ball was a whole lot worse than the other side of the ball, and that there's outside of a hero wearing a cape named Emmett Johnson that was kind of lifting that side up. So I was a little bit surprised by it, by seeing it this morning. It again can be taken in one of two ways: is hey, they see the problems, they're adjusting to the problems, they're going to make this team better moving forward, or this is just constant change, and how can anything ever get better in a constant state of change?
When I say this, I really thought about this, Bob. I don't think it was a John Butler problem when we talk about on the defense. I think it was a defensive line problem. I think it was not being able to replace Ty and Nash, which really hurt this defense. Could have switched to a 4-3 when I talk about this part, because I'm not a big fan of the 3-3-5. When I said this for the last 2 years when we first started, it's going to be only a matter of time before the Big Ten really find out who you are. I mean, obviously, Rose reversed this year from passing to rushing part. Last year, we wasn't that good at the pass. This year, we was great at the pass. So you take last year, we was great at the run, not very good at the pass. So, you have to follow. You have to find a fall guy somewhere, Bach. And for that part, John Butler was Coach Severs. Do you know who Coach Severs is, Bach? Coach Severs is the fall guy.
Why is that?
That's the name of the show. You never seen that show? The Fall Guy.
The Fall Guy. Okay. Yeah. I've heard of it.
Yeah. So, that's one of my childhood classics, also with TJ Hooker, Mark and Mindy, and quite a few others. Bach, I made a mistake this weekend. When you let people come work on things at your house, make sure when they take something out, you know what they took out. My house has been stuck on 52 degrees all weekend.
Not this weekend.
Yes. I let a guy named Rilo come fix on my air conditioner early in the summer. Little did I know, Bach, he took the fuse out for the heat and put it on the air because he didn't have a fuse.
Oh, my goodness.
Rilo won't be back till today, so hopefully he's got it going on right now. But we got to stop finding these nickel and dime guys to work on things at your house when, because I don't know anything about air. I just know the heat wouldn't come on.
Sure.
I just knew I stayed in one room with my heaters and blankets. So it wasn't that bad, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Not comfortable around the house. Yeah.
52 degrees in the house is like damn near freezing to me.
And I was surprised. I didn't know it was going to snow today. So I woke up there, my kid comes yelling at me, "Hey, there's snow on the car." Oh, no, not again. Here we are. I usually don't mind snow before Christmas. Kind of gets you in the mood, but not too much of it.
All right, Bach, let's hop into the John Butler thing. When we talk about John Butler being here, I can't fault him. When you talk about this, the Blackshirts finished the year as one of the best pass defenses. When we talk about it, Bach, 140 yards up, 141 yards per game. Only team to do better, Ohio State. That's good news. But when we turn to the flip side of it, Bach, we talk about the rushing numbers. We talk about the rushing defense that's number 95 in the nation, gives up 172 yards. The 2000 team was 8th, Bach. No, the 2024 team was 8th in the nation. Yeah. They only gave up 101. And I always said this when we talked about the transfer portal, when we talked about the guys we bringing in, I said these are not guys that's going to contribute right away. Those guys we got, they didn't contribute that much this year. You would expect the guy that comes from Mississippi State. You would expect the guy that comes from Tennessee Tech. You would expect guys that come from Missouri and all these other places to be. I know Winery is still a work in progress. I mean, he will be great in a 4-3 defense.
But to your point, I mean, outside of Jalen George, the FCS player who comes with its own ideas, right?
Yeah.
Those guys that didn't have a history, Gabe Moore and Williams Winery, of production on the field at the college level. They were projects or hopes, kind of, development guys.
I think a lot of guys on this defense line was hope.
Yeah.
I hope they can do this. When we talk about that hope part, Bock, the Black Shirts finished outside of the top 50 in third down conversion rates, 55th. Fourth down conversion rates, 119th. Points allowed, 53rd. Turnovers gained, 91st. Tackles for loss, 90. Sacks, 102. In red zone defense, 133rd.
Wow.
This is more than just a defensive coordinator problem. This is a head coach problem. As Matt Rule is, he's a jack of all trades. A lot of things need to be addressed this offseason. I know we still have one more game to go, but I don't think this is the only casualty. I think it should be a little bit more. And like you said, the continuity, like you want people to be in place. You want to be stable. But in this age of college football, you're not going to be able to be stable if we're giving up stats like this.
Yeah, and certainly, again, against Penn State and Iowa, the bottom kind of fell out over the last couple of weeks on this defense. But, I mean, I agree with you. Then that's why I'm just confounded by the whole thing. It's not that I'm going to sit here and pound the table and say John Butler did a great job of coaching the defense this year. Clearly, especially how it finished, that was not the case. It's just I thought there was maybe a bigger vision or a better plan, because throughout all of this, in my problem, in kind of looking at this Matt Rule program, is I got to be able to believe that you're making sound decisions and smart moves, or at least moves that you're going to stick with, that you believe in beyond a little bit of trepidation. I kind of caught on to this after the Minnesota loss, right? Nebraska loses 24-6 at Minnesota. Minnesota didn't even run for 200 yards that game, close to it, and they clearly out-physicaled Nebraska. And it was interesting because after that game, Coach Rule went in front of in the press conference and said, "Yeah, they called too vanilla of a defense." And then John Butler had to go out there, kind of with his tail between his legs, and say, "Yeah, it's on me." And so you could see there's a little bit of friction there. Specifically after that game, it's 24-6. You didn't score 7 points. That was an offensive problem. Yes, the defense didn't do well, and it's the Minnesota offense that's struggling in its own right at times this year. So again, I'm not completely saying the defense was not very disappointing and frustrating that day, but I could see there it's like, okay, why is all the blame going to the defensive side? And then as the year kind of progresses, I mean, you look at their final 4 losses. I think they averaged 12 points a game.
6 against Minnesota.
Right, 6 against Minnesota.
How many against Penn State?
So 10 against Penn State, 16 against Iowa, and 17 against USC. That comes out to about 12 points per game. And so I'm just interested in maybe, and we'll see, maybe more will come on. I mean, I'm not hunting for blood. I don't want heads here. I do find it unique if they are going to decide to kind of do this one at a time. That'd be kind of odd if you're from my angle, maybe you'd kind of just want to kind of news dump it all at one time. Hey, here's the guys we're going to release. Here's the guys that are sticking around. Well, you don't have to even say that, but here's the guys that we're kind of moving on from, and do that all at once. So people say, well, maybe this isn't the first of them. Might not be, but even in that, I would probably prefer you kind of do it all at once. So we'll see what's ahead of them here. I just am frustrated by the fact that we were in the situation a year ago. And 2 years ago, they brought in John Butler. Remember, when their secondary coach, they had to get rid of him because of some off-the-field stuff. They brought in John Butler in the summer, and that immediately put pressure on Tony White, whether from inside the building, outside the building, maybe both. And so ultimately, John Butler being there, maybe as the guy in waiting for if Tony White leaves, maybe push Tony White out the door. And then you have John Butler. You go with that plan, right? You go with John Butler as the hire, but you have him run Tony White's defense. So he's had this year of defensive coordinator, but he was told, yeah, stick to the 3-3-5. This defense, this is what's been working. And then you look from it on the outside. And to your point, whether it's the offensive line or the defensive line, they did a little bit more as far as bringing in veterans on the offensive line. Obviously, a lot more, 2 of your starters. But you could see from the offseason, hey, they didn't get what they needed to continue the amount of success that they've had on the defensive front these past few seasons. And you could say, well, maybe Ty Robinson's a 6-year senior. It's not fair to compare him to these young guys. Well, it's year 3. You need to develop some of these guys, regardless of whether they're the 6-year senior specific example of Ty Robinson or just promising defensive linemen. So I think the plan at whole is what I'm more frustrated by, is because I just thought there was, sometimes like I just feel like there should have been a bigger plan with more of maybe of the leash. Now, that saying all that, I don't know what's going on inside the building. And like I said, with kind of the press conferences after the Minnesota game, it did very much appear that John Butler and Matt Rule were not on the same page. And if that's just the case and it's not working, and then the defense even falls further to the ground at the end of the season, then, altogether you can't make decisions based on things you did, a year ago. You got to make decisions on the future. And so I guess that's maybe the bright or the bright outlook on this, is that this is all done to move in the future. But if I'm grading Matt Rule on coordinator hires so far here at the University of Nebraska, hasn't been great.
Bock, here's the thing we need to understand, that they needed a scapegoat to put this on, and he's that scapegoat. When you look at what Phil Snow has done, he's supposed to be there to help this guy.
Yeah.
What was his role in this defense? What was his role in helping him determine what was the problem going on with the defense? Hey, run an under bubble. Hey, run a bubble. Run a 5-man front if you know teams like Penn State, Iowa, gonna run the ball. Put an extra man in the box, Bock. We can't even do the simple things to make these kids look good out there, because we look pathetic Friday, Bock, when we talk about that game. First half, great first half. You let a team like Iowa score 40 points on you. Should be ashamed of ourselves, Bock. I should be, for going with Nebraska and picking them, because I went 4-6 this weekend.
Yeah, it did not help you.
I know, but I mean, Bock, there's so many texts on this. And like on text, let's go to break. We'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll read the texts. We'll still go over this. We'll still go over this John Butler thing. Then we'll hop into the Iowa game. A lot of stuff to talk about today. Lane Kiffin getting booed at the airport, one of the best things I ever seen in college football. 93.7 The Ticket. Bock the Blackshirt. We'll be right back.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime and so much more when you join today. You heard that right. Conquer the stair climber with your partner in climb. Enjoy a post-workout recovery session in the hydro massage, and do it all again with access to any of our 2,700 plus convenient locations. So, you coming? Get all the perks with a PF Black Card for $1 down and $24.99 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, December 5th. See Club for details.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to The Mercado today for the best meat in town.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740. Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Here at Midwest Bank, we want to thank all the generous donors who helped us make our 2025 turkey dinner for schools a success. Thanks to the generosity, we raised enough money to provide 191 families across 6 different schools in Lincoln with a full Thanksgiving meal. With your support, we've made Thanksgiving Day for these families a little brighter. We want to wish everyone a healthy and happy Thanksgiving. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Are you tired of your usual barbershop experience? Stop into Scissors and Scotch today. I know what you're thinking. Drink during a haircut? Don't worry. First comes the precision cut from one of their experienced barbers, followed by your complimentary cocktail in their upscale lounge. Scissors and Scotch blends your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. And now you can earn $10 off by simply mentioning the ticket. And if you're an existing member, still mention the ticket for an exclusive offer. Offer valid at Lincoln location only. Scissors and Scotch, located just south of 30th and Yankee Hill, and online at lincoln.scissorscotch.com.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Bock and the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. We are powered
By
Bauer,
infrastructure,
Bauer,
underground,
Brad.
excavating.
All right, welcome back to Bock and the Blackshirt. Bock, let's read some of these texts on the text line here. Cubster says, it was not on Butler. It's hard for any defense to be good when they are constantly on the field due to lack of offense throughout the season. And if it was Matt Rule's decision to keep him from running his own defensive scheme, then Matt Rule needs to put his damn ego aside, because the best part of the Bills' D was when Butler was there, was his crew. He made chicken soup out of you-know-what with them backers.
Yeah, I mean, I, again, personally can kind of agree with some of that stuff. I just don't know if Butler was given a fair trial here as far as long-term plan, all that sort of stuff. Always just one season, one opportunity. Did not make the most of it. And again, I think he kind of falls on the sword. A reminder, I mean, again, as I kind of go back to the offense, I pointed that out. They had less than 70 yards passing on Friday. It'd be tough to win too many games when you don't even have much of a pulse in the passing game. And you can always have your excuses. Freshman quarterback last year, freshman quarterback now replacing your sophomore quarterback this year. Like, I get it, but yeah, I just feel like Emmett Johnson completely saved the offensive side of the ball. And if Coach Butler had an Emmett Johnson or, an equivalent, I'd say like yourself or Levante David, I think the defense maybe would have looked a little bit better because of one guy. So I just don't know. I'm very intrigued to see it all. I don't know where they go from here. But I did want to ask you, Terrell, because you've said before, not a big fan of the 3-3-5. I kind of fall with Carricker, who says whether it's a 3-4, 4-3, 4-2-5, whatever it is, you've seen people win with it and lose with it. So you just got to know how to coach your system. Do you have a preference with where this defense heads in the next hire as far as schematically?
I mean, last year you had it perfectly because you had the two big guys, Bob, up on the 3-3-5. But when you don't have the player personnel for it, it's not going to run right. It's going to be gashes in it. It's going to be holes in it. It's going to be linebackers getting reached. It's going to be, this whole thing I talk about when I talk about the 3-3-5 is that we're never was equipped for it, Bob, especially when Ty Nash left. We didn't go get 330-pound guys. We didn't go get those 6'7" guys, those just some line cloggers. We went and got some small body guys, which if you think about when speed beats power, that's sometimes, Bob. But when speed and power meets up, then it's a different story. Especially if you don't know how to use your hands. You don't know how to use your foot. Your footwork's off. When I watched that Penn State game, Bob, and we all watched that play, the whole defensive line got turned around. And like they was on skates, Bob. And that's when I knew we was in trouble. I knew before we was in trouble, but just watching a team that 4-6 go out there and dominate us, and now to come back and let Iowa dominate us is just where's the heart at? I mean, the coaches got to have some heart. The coaches got to, we always blame the players, but this starts up front. And I'm just glad the year's over with right now because we have a lot of work. We have a lot of work ahead of us.
Well, and it is interesting. They did name Phil Snow the interim defensive coordinator. Remember, John Butler at one time was the interim defensive coordinator. They did finally, go with John Butler in that move. As you kind of mentioned that, it is interesting to see because there is one game out there, and I felt, kind of in this weekend, kind of wondering about what was going to happen coming up. How much can you really put into that game? This is why I say you kind of devalue bowl games a little bit. Again, you already kind of get, I call them Frankenstein and skeleton versions of the teams in the regular season. Nebraska's already obviously moving off their defensive coordinator. I don't know. We'll have to remain to be seen if Emmett Johnson's going to want to play in the bowl game or if he's going to return, all that sort of stuff. So it's interesting to see. There is that one game out there, but I just don't know. They really need that bowl win. I don't know how much it would mean, right, as far as totality and for the program. Obviously, it would get you to 8 wins. But the biggest thing that it would do is just breathe some life into this program. Because as you mentioned, those back-to-back losses in beat-down fashion to Penn State and Iowa, you combine that with the fact that every time they were on a 3-letter network this year, they lost 0 for 5 in front of the national audience. This is a program void of a whole lot of momentum.
Yeah. Bog, I like this one. See, this is what it takes line is for. This is what it's for, Bob. 1562 says, what do they expect the coordinator to do? The program is built on complacency and entitlement. He never had a chance. A new coordinator will not change the fact that the players are soft, they give up, and obviously not preparing well in the offseason based on how they collapse in November every year. Fold up the program, shut off the lights on the way out, spend all the money on people that have earned it. Yeah, you're right. One thing I have to think that Matt Rule needs to do is he needs to overhaul on his whole staff when I talk about this, because if these guys been with you since Carolina, Bob, and these guys been with you for so long, you need something new. You need somebody who's hot. You need somebody who wants to fight against the head coach and say, hey, I think we need to do it this way instead of that way. I need somebody that's going to stand up and be a coach. Bach, that's what I think we need here. I mean, we're back to the end of the season. Especially shout out to the volleyball team, man. 29-0 regular season.
30-0 now, yeah.
30-0. We'll talk about that. We need to get somebody in here that knows defenses, that knows how to coach. I'm not saying that these coaches don't know how to coach. It's that they've been with Matt Rule too long.
Well, some of them have. I think we've seen even, those first kind of friendly hires, if you will, at the beginning didn't work out, and you kind of had to move off that. Dana Holgerson, John Butler, they don't have a whole lot of a history with Matt Rule, at least as far as on coaching staff. So, this was not a friend hire. This was a guy that he kind of brought in, thought would be a guy in John Butler that thought he should be a defensive coordinator at the NFL level. So a guy that he thought might have a chip on his shoulder. But again, it was just always kind of weird because you never let him run his defense. You just handed him a front seven that did not have the same bodies as they did the year before to run the 3-3-5 because it had been successful under Coach White in that defense. But with that personnel is the main key. Remember, it's not just, Ty and Nash, which were big, but John Bullock is an NFL player in that front seven. Some of those guys might not have had the best years this year, but they certainly contributed last year and were expected to contribute this year. And guys like Jamari Butler, Princewell Umanmielen, James Williams. And so, there's just so much to replace in that front seven that, again, to your point kind of earlier, is there a big part of this that's on John Butler? Absolutely. That's why he's falling on the sword. But I think the bigger part, and a lot of it, was your GM. The collection of talent that you brought in. At some point, you got to be able to coach them up, right? We need development in this program. But now I'm just starting to wonder if we're pointing fingers every other year, and it's this year's the offense and this year's the defense. At some point, who's the guy pointing the fingers? And we just extended him. We just paid him a lot more money. So it is not the best place for Nebraska football to be. I mean, I'm stating the obvious. Obviously, we all know that after watching the Iowa game. But again, when I talk about that bowl game and the importance of it, and usually I just throw them out, like the bowl games, the championship weekends that we have, conference championships. You can't make college football so playoff based and then come back and say, hey, they still matter just as much as they used to. They don't. Okay, you could try to find out some sort of reason for them to matter. For Nebraska, though, it does in this year's category. Whether it's a skeleton team beating a Frankenstein team or not, it's just a win, and you need any sort of momentum or any sort of decision that they're moving in the right direction. So we'll see. But again, that was the message, kind of throughout the season, or that you want to have if you're a 7-5 program is, hey, yeah, we're not where we want to be, but we're moving in the right direction. We got the people in place. Instead, Nebraska at 7-5 is falling out from the bottom at the end of the season, and clearly don't feel like they have the right people in place because you just fired one. And whether they choose to make any other moves or not, there's a whole litany of names that the fan base can name and think, hey, maybe you could upgrade here and there.
Bock, these wasn't the same people that was talking when we were 7-1. These weren't the same people that was talking when we was beating Houston Christian and the other schools.
Yeah.
Or Cincinnati. Bock, this team went backwards. Real backwards, quick. I said it at the beginning of the season, Bock. You're looking at a 7-5 or 8-4 team. I didn't know we was going to come into this thing with a 2-game losing streak. And if you play Utah in the bowl game, you're looking at a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, and part of it is November, and I can agree with that. But part of this was kind of fool's gold all along. You look at, and I hate to say it that way, because it did kind of fall apart. But Nebraska's, again, since 2016, has not had a better than 500 conference record in the Big Ten. Once again, they finished 4-5 here. The problem is their 4 wins in the Big Ten. One is a bowl team in Northwestern, so a little bit of credit there. But you combine their 4 conference records, and they're 9-27. So, I mean, I think if Nebraska would have played Michigan State and Maryland in November, maybe you would have won and had a better end to the season or whatever it might be. But I don't know if that necessarily means that you're the program's heading in the right direction. Now, on the same kind of talk there, they played competitively with Michigan and USC. but close doesn't really count, right? I mean, that doesn't really
Yeah,
help
you
you
just
a whole
lucked
lot.
up.
Yeah. And then, but the bigger thing is, of course, as we're talking about the 7-5 year or expectations for 8-4, a lot of that was schedule based. Now the schedule gets significantly more difficult. You play every one of these three Big Ten playoff teams next season. Throw in Iowa, Illinois, and Washington. So, I mean, you're talking about outside of Michigan and USC, who you swap out of there, as far as teams atop the Big Ten standings, I think you're talking about 6 of the top 8. And so, just to that point, I do think that they regress throughout the year, but I also think there was a little bit of fool's gold in some of those early victories. Michigan State and Maryland were not good. They were both 1-8. Michigan State fired their coach because of the season in year 2 for what they had. So a little bit fool's gold, but there's no fool's gold next year. Next year it's tough.
It's year 4.
Year 4.
Magical year was year 3.
Yeah.
What did we upgrade in year 3 at, Bob? Where?
They played Emmett Johnson more, which is good.
That was not saying he's the only one on this team, but as many other guys, I didn't see the upgrade at receiver. I didn't see the upgrade at DBs. I didn't see the upgrade at linebackers. I didn't see the upgrade. The line played better towards the end of the year.
The offensive line?
The offensive line.
Yeah.
But I didn't see the only upgrade I seen was Eckler.
Mm-hmm.
Eckler. That's it. Somebody on YouTube says made 2 bowl games in a row. That's an upgrade. If you call it an upgrade. I mean, we're still that team that can't beat Iowa. Iowa owns us. You let a intern coach was the last coach to beat Iowa. When we talk about that part, Bob.
Yeah, I've been holding it off all weekend, but I think he considering I'm a Red Sox fan, so
you got to be kidding me that after 10 years of Nebraska and Iowa playing, Mickey Joseph, the intern coach, is the only team with Bill Bush as an interim defensive coordinator beat Iowa.
Yeah, 1-10 against them. But I mean, I think particularly if you look at that is also intriguing because as you see this defensive coordinator move today, the last couple of times Nebraska's been blown out by Iowa, been very interesting. 2013, remember Iowa beat Nebraska 38-17. Bo Pelini said, if they want to fire me, fire my ass. They did not, but they fired him the next season despite beating Iowa. So that was kind of interesting. The blowout kind of set in motion the pressure on Bo Pelini's job there. 2016, Nebraska, of course, that's their last 9-win season. We all like to refer. Don't look at the end of the season because you want to cover your eyes for that. 40-10 loss to Iowa. Nebraska fires Mark Banker, brings in Bob Diaco. Obviously doesn't get better from there. The next year they get blown out. Mike Riley's final year as well there. Then we got all these close games. There's not necessarily a great example from the Frost era, except that he never beat Iowa. And then as to your point, Mickey Joseph comes in. But historically, during this stretch, when Nebraska has been blown out by Iowa, Nebraska is reactionary, and it does not turn out well. They're reactionary here today by firing John Butler. Hopefully the tides turn in this case.
Bob, here we go right here. Husker Josh. I'm going to read this one. YouTube. Husker Josh says, good Lord, boys. The guy came from the Big 12. The Big 10 is much more advanced. This year 3 turned around deal. He said, oh, I can't read that part, Bob.
Yeah, there's parts of it you can't.
Yeah. I'm not going to read that part. Here's the question. Matt Rule knew what he was getting into when he came to the Big 10. He played in the Big 10. Big 10 been this way for 30 years. You don't go out and get a 265-pound defensive tackle and think they're going to do something, Bob. We need players that can play now. If you got that money, you better spend it on the portal, and you need to get some defensive linemen in here and some offensive linemen and stop worrying about the specialty position. Oh, and you might want to go get a running back. We'll talk more about Emmett Johnson when we come right back here. Bock The Blackshirt, 93.7 The Ticket.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Here at Midwest Bank, we want to thank all the generous donors who helped us make our 2025 turkey dinner for schools a success. Thanks to the generosity, we raised enough money to provide 191 families across 6 different schools in Lincoln with a full Thanksgiving meal. With your support, we've made Thanksgiving Day for these families a little brighter. We want to wish everyone a healthy and happy Thanksgiving. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
I'm Steve Carper, and I'm here to tell you that there's never been a better time to buy flooring. Whether you need carpet, wood flooring, ceramic tile, vinyl, area rugs, or custom blinds, you got to come to O Street Carpet. With our 12-month interest-free financing, you can do one room or your whole house and leave your holiday budget intact. And with our huge in-stock selection, you can buy today and we'll install it right away. 1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Byrne as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. You're listening to Bock the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Bock and the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. Bock, what generation we in right now? What's this generation called?
I have to look it up. I don't know.
What's this? Because this is the most dancingest generation that I've seen in my life. I haven't seen football players dance this much. I went on TikTok. I seen 20 different Husker players just wiggling and wobbling and wiggling and shaking and popping. But when you get on the field, you can't shake and pop and make somebody miss a tackle.
Hey, now to be fair, Emmett Johnson.
Emmett Johnson's the only one.
He's got a lot of wiggle to him, and he shows that on the field. This is this current generation, encompassing those born between 2010 and 2024, which would be a little bit, our current players would be a little bit ahead of this.
Let's say 2004.
This would be Generation Alpha.
2004 to however old they are, Bob. I don't know. These guys, let's get back on task, Bob. I don't want to spend too much time talking about TikTok dancers when we got a lot to worry about. Like a defense.
Gen Z.
Gen Z. Yeah, these Gen Z kids, boy, I tell you, Bob.
They like their dancing. And again, also to be fair to Emmett Johnson, he's got like 200,000 followers on TikTok or something like that. So he's building this brand. I think there's room to dance and to win football games. I think we see that from some of the more winning teams in college football. But it does not make you too happy to see them dance when they're not winning.
So, Bob, but at the end of the day, Bob, when I talk about this team, it's more problems than a defensive problem when I talk about it. We got problems on the O-line. We have problems at wide receiver. I don't know how good we upgraded from the wide receivers last year when they have identical numbers. When they have identical numbers.
Yeah, I would say the one thing that I would say is obviously is that Coach Holgerson came in and called out the wide receiver blocking. That's got significantly better this year. But as far as threats on the outside, we saw it at times. I think Isaiah Hunter ends as the leading receiver, 617 yards, 5 touchdowns. Going to have a chance to improve on that in the bowl game.
That same thing as Banks had last year, wasn't it?
Well, Banks had 587. Yeah, so very, very close. Nair finished with 455 last year. Barney with 447. Barney this year now with 463, and Dane Key with 424. So if you're talking about receiving threats, they're kind of in the same realm. If in general.
I talked about the wide receivers play calling, both sides, offense, defense. And plus, Bob, not being mentally prepared, physically prepared. I don't know if these guys, this is a physical team.
No.
I don't think it is. I think this is not going to say one of the weakest, but probably one of the weakest I've seen in Matt Rule 3 years here when we talk about being physical.
Yeah, and again, I think maybe even to the bigger point, and physicality being a part of that, and that again was frustrating because you could identify in the off season and didn't seem like they got enough there in the portal, and then that kind of played out. But as far as like being prepared and ready to play, I think that's what's the most frustrating about these final 2 games. Of course, you throw in an additional blowout against Minnesota earlier in the year. Is that at least in year 1, whatever, you can forgive a game here and there. In year 2. They are at least competitive. I mean, you lose an embarrassing game to UCLA, but it was by 7. Outside of the Indiana game, which Indiana puts a lot of people in that kind of situation. Not to complete, but that was one game last year where they weren't competitive or were not ready to play that game. I think you would have 3 in the examples this year in Minnesota, Penn State, and Iowa. And unfortunately, 2 back-to-back at the end of the season when you're supposed to be progressing. And one in particular against Penn State where you had 2 weeks to prepare for it.
Yeah. Bob, I'm just, I've been on talk radio for the last 3, almost 4 years. And this part of the year, I hate about it because we have, as fans, have expectations like players do. And we expected this team to be at least a compatible team. Didn't see that the last 3 weeks of the football season, especially the last 2 weeks when we talk about this team and the things that they didn't do well. We knew at the beginning of the season it was going to be a struggle on the defense without Nash and Ty. So we kind of knew that. As we move forward, Bob, does Emmett Johnson stay or go?
Well, that's a big question, right? I think he may have played himself into All-American first team status again. Will not be obviously a finalist for the Doak Walker Award because for some reason we announced that before all the regular season comes to a conclusion. But it is interesting to see him kind of play out. 217 yards, his best. He had his career high at halftime. 177 yards against Iowa. Finished with 217. Obviously, if it was a closer game, they would have handed the ball off a little bit more. I thought you might have been on 300 watch there for a little bit. And I hope that he stays. I think Nebraska, it's going to be interesting. I think if Dylan Raiola happens to leave, maybe you could kind of shift your money toward Emmett Johnson. I don't know if that would be a particularly problematic idea. I don't know if they have the money to keep both of them. Obviously, money's going to play a big factor in this. But I've been saying it all along, and I'll continue to say it. The smart move for a running back that's a junior and still got some tread on his tires. If you're going to be a first 4-round draft pick, is probably to go. And I think Emmett Johnson probably fits into that category again, just because of the shelf life that you have as a running back. And then the other thing is how are you going to leave better than the number one Power 4 or most productive Power 4 running back in college football? He's got that. He just ran for the most yards against a Phil Parker defense since Melvin Gordon, a historic name in college football circles, and over a decade ago. I just think there's a lot that would say, hey, strike when the iron's hot. The iron is hot now. And here's the part that's specifically going to get me in a little bit of trouble with Husker fans. If he does not leave for the NFL, I hope that loyalty plays a factor. I hope that, my wish obviously is for him to stay and play at Nebraska, but it also might not be the worst idea if he wanted to boost his stock to go play for a better team, because next year, again, Nebraska's going to have a more difficult schedule ahead of him. Hard probably to replicate those numbers. He carried so much of the offensive load that it would be nice for him to be a little bit fresh. So again, I hate to say it, but with all options on the table, I would probably place NFL first, transfer portal to a competitive team that can kind of get his name out there a little bit more with a little bit of help second, and then staying at Nebraska third. Hate to say it, that's probably what if I didn't have any feelings involved, that would probably be my my guess for him. But he has been one of the best representatives. Was proud to say it as far as Nebraska goes. And again, there is a path, I think, to getting him to stay if you can present a good enough package money wise. But again, the problem here would be is that, what are you selling to him? Is he going to get the same number of carries outside of money? You loaded him up. You're getting him 30 touches a game here down the final stretch. That's just a lot off the tires that you might be expecting if you try to bring him back to Nebraska next year.
All right, when we look at Mel Kiper has him at number 6 on his big board out of the top 10 running backs. I think Cam Scatterbull was the number 6 back last year.
I think he was 8th.
8th,
yeah.
And he ended up what round did he go in?
He was 4th round, I believe.
Yeah. So there's good company behind him. Jeremiah Love, Michigan Justice Hayes of Washington, Joanna Coleman, Penn State, Nick Singleton. You got the other guy too for Penn State. If I was Emmett, I don't know about it. I probably would go.
Yeah.
Sit down with your family, think about it. This might not be the same team next year, Bock. We have a long off season to go. And the way you see things on Twitter with players sending out smoke signs and you hear about TJ Lateef and Barney sending out smoke signals. So if I was him, I'd probably have to sit down with my family. That's between him and his family, how much he needed, how much he wants it, how much Nebraska can counter offer to keep him back. But if you lose a guy like Emmett right now, I don't see how we have a chance next year.
It's troublesome to think about it.
Emmett is so far ahead of these other 3 backs we got, Bob. It doesn't make any sense. I've seen other running backs. I've seen third string I'm not going to talk about the 90s because we had good offensive line. I've seen third string guys have, fourth string guys have 100-yard games, Bock. So, I'm like unnamed Texas. It's better to go out this year as a running back or next year. But it says it's better to go
He's
out.
trying to see if it is better or what kind of the field looks like there.
And if he does, just get you some great insurance because, just stuff like that happens. All right, 93.7 The Ticket, Bock The Blackshirt. We'll be right back.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Feeling under the weather? Got a minor injury that can't wait? Skip the ER visit and high cost. Choose CHI Health Clinic Priority Care for everything from sniffles and sinus infections to stitches and sprains. Priority Care handles it all at primary care rates, much less than a typical urgent care visit. Priority Care is open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Find relief without breaking the bank. Learn more at chihealth.com/prioritycare.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
You're looking for a forecast for today. A chance of snow this morning and probably sunny skies this afternoon. We'll see a higher on 24. Tonight, decreasing cloud cover and calm winds, below around 7. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze, halfing a high near 34. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new Delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt.
Terrell Farley. Defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror. Number 43.
And Jake Bockoven. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer.
Welcome back to Bock and the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. We got a phone call. Miss Bev. Bev, you on the line?
Hey, I was listening to you guys, and you were talking about, firing coaches on the defensive side? Mm-hmm. I know Butler got canned, but look at Iowa. They've had the same coaching staff pretty much for 27 years. Same with Penn State. He was there for 12 years. They know what they're doing. We've got all these new coaches. We need to have them stick around for a while so they know, so we can get something done. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, great call, Bev. We'll react to that. I definitely agree with you. I mean, that's what the kind of the frustrating part for me about this is with Coach Butler. It's not so much, again, that he did a perfect job or everything was heading in the right direction. It was that there's no continuity when you're just blaming the offense, blaming the defense. And at certain times throughout the rule era, you can see why that's happened, but you've already replaced your offensive coordinator. So at one time it was, hey, the offense isn't doing good enough. And that was just over a year ago, obviously. And then now this, you're kind of blaming out at the defense. And how are you supposed to improve or get a whole lot better, or develop if you've only got 1 year to do it in that position? So it is interesting to kind of see certain staffs are able to do that. As we talk about an open defensive coordinator position, Phil Parker's the name over there at Iowa that comes up, for every job. I think whenever there's a defensive coordinator position open, because you would love to be able to replicate what he's done there in Iowa City over the last several years. But for whatever it is, Kirk Ferentz in Iowa is able to keep him in the building, and they've been spectacular. So again, I think you're kind of caught, and some fans are in kind of reacting to the news today. Is on one hand, there's a group of fans that are saying, hey, this needed to happen. Let's get a better defensive coordinator in and move forward, onward and upward. And there's another group of fans, Bev, myself probably included in that, where it's like, when is there going to be any continuity around to kind of be able to build something stable and continue, to do just that, build off of it instead of constantly changing, on both sides of the ball. And again, from there, it's like, well, I think the biggest question, again, coming out of those games is just, what is Nebraska's strength as a program right now? Because if the defense is getting blamed and the offense is also struggling and really carried by one guy in Emmett Johnson, and that shows through the percentage of production of offense that he has given to Nebraska. And obviously, they've leaned into it. They've given him 30 plus touches the last 5 games. So, in a good way, they did identify that and started to give it more to Emmett. But the point is, I just don't know if there really is a strength. We could have said maybe before the passing defense. Well, they weren't impressed enough by that. They've kind of thrown that to the side now here in looking for their next defensive coordinator. You could say maybe, I guess, special teams, which is a lot. It's good to have special teams as a strength over it being your primary weakness last year. But I mean, you need a little bit of help from all sides of the ball there. So special teams, obviously, kind of being that one side of the ball, the 1/3 of the game that Nebraska can lean on, but you only get so many of those plays per game, and how impactful can they be? I just don't know. I mean, Terrell, would you say what would this, if somebody asked you, if they just walk in, they don't know anything about Nebraska football, what's the strength of this team?
The fans.
The fans, yeah.
The fans. It's always been there. I hate to take away from the team, but when you talk about the firing part, it really came to shock me because a guy who's a defensive coordinator, he takes pride. His guys are number 2 in the nation in pass defense. Not that great in run defense, but do you blame the defensive coordinator? Do you blame the D-line coach? Do you blame the recruiting people for not getting guys that should be on the field right now, not recruiting the guys that we need to play immediately, not be a work in progress? So, this goes way beyond the defensive coordinator. I think it goes to the recruiting guys. I think it goes on both sides of the ball when we talk about this, man. I mean, I hope this is not the end of it, because if it is, you miss a couple of positions that also needs to be on the brink of not having a job. But at the same time, Matt Rule has to put this on somebody, and John Butler happens to be that guy because he has no ties to Matt Rule. He has no ties to some of the coaches on this team. They haven't been together. He hasn't been with Rule like most of these guys on this coaching staff. Bock. These guys Rule had, that goes for the running back coach. He's been with him a long time. Dunny been with him 4 years. Came with his nephew, so package deal. Who else we got? Holgerson. He's been a good friend of his forever. Offense not really clicking like it should. Maybe his offense is outdated, Bock, because it worked against Boston College. It worked against a couple teams at the end of last year. This year it sputtered, Bock, like it's ran out of gas. So you can always add to that. Hey, it's the quarterback. It's the quarterback fault. No, it's the head coach fault, because if you're gonna blame anybody, I think that all this should fall on Matt Rule. And he needs to take accountability and get this program right. I mean, the part that I don't like that about Matt Rule is stop with the love stuff. I know you love your players, but you got to make these guys play. I mean, Bock, these guys, it feel like we lay down after halftime every game. I mean, this was a great game.
Yeah.
This was a good game in the first half, Bock, when you look at it. I mean, you look at the first quarter, it was 10-10. Iowa jumped out. We jumped out. It was 24-16 at halftime.
Yeah.
Still capable of being a game. A lot of people cry about the helmet to helmet. That was not a targeting, Bock. That was a hit up under the chin, if you looked at it. We need to figure out what's our identity. Are we just some guys who want to dress up and be football players, or are we some guys that want to go out there and play football, Bock, when we talk about that part?
Yeah, and Nebraska just really doesn't have much of an identity, and that's, again, to the frustration. What's your strengths? What's your identity? It's hard to answer here. Again, there is, and I've seen it on the text line as well as the YouTube chat. Shout out to the YouTube chat. You can join in on the conversation as well. We've had that going on quite a bit, so we appreciate everybody for chiming in there. We can get to some of your thoughts there as well. But, there's just – and that's where I wonder, too, just in the direction of Matt Rule. And when you hire I guess the frustration for me is that Matt Rule is kind of the CEO type of coach, right? So he's going to delegate both sides of the ball. He's going to get experts and people that he thinks are elite, right, in coaching these positions. And the coaching staff continues to just kind of continue to cycle. And again, it's been on both sides of the ball. You try to point out some of the guys that have been loyal around or stuck around to Matt Rule for the longest time. I mean, Rob Dvorak as the linebacker coach, pretty much the only guy left there on the defensive side of the ball. So it's just tough because I think for Matt Rule to succeed as a CEO type of coach, which again, I think he's spectacular at certain aspects of that, right? I mean, some people don't like all the podcast stuff and all that, but he at least, he's good at getting Nebraska's name out there, all that sort of stuff. But he's going to really be dependent on his coordinators to have success. And so far, the coordinators' choices that he has made have just not, at best, is he got a 50% hit rate. And that depends on what you feel about Dana Holgorsen, again, at this point in the season, which was, again, I think is a great hire, or at least what looks to be on the outside, and has worked at times, but altogether not blown away, right? I'll go back to it. I think they've scored their final 4 losses. They averaged less than 2 touchdowns a game, 12 point something points. I mean, that's just not going to be good enough. So at some point, if I'm going to believe that, okay, if Matt Rule is a CEO type of coach and he needs coordinators or assistant coaches to help propel his program upward, then I really want to believe that he is going to be able to make those hires. And what we've seen at Nebraska so far is the exact opposite of that. And the guys that have stuck around, it's kind of interesting because we're going to see about Donovan Raiola in the next couple of weeks, right? If they're going to stick with him. The offensive line did improve throughout the year, for what that's worth. Emmett Johnson is, of course, going to get a lot of credit for what he's been able to do, but you can't do that without blocking on the field as well. So a decision to be made there. But, at some point you want to expect more. Like Nebraska was working toward average, trying to get back to average on the offensive line. You want to work toward better than that. And then EJ Barthel, a name that you mentioned earlier. I'm just so fascinated by how people view his season from the outside, because there just hasn't been any development of running backs outside of Emmett Johnson, who, yes, has been spectacular, All-American type. And so, usually you'd reflect that back on the coach. Hey, what a great job of development. But I'm just not so sure that was the case, because they refused to play Emmett Johnson, as much as they probably should have in his first 2 years here. In fact, in a loss last season against Illinois, didn't even touch the ball. You got an All-American running back as a junior that didn't touch the ball in one of your losses as a sophomore. And it wasn't because he was injured. It was just did not play. They decided on some other guys. So, even the guys that are sticking around.
Well, maybe he wasn't ready his sophomore year, Bock.
He was ready.
He wasn't ready, Bock. He was he was learning. I mean, Emmett wasn't this good his sophomore year, period. He wasn't this good.
He wasn't this good, perhaps, and he's really turned it on here. But a lot of that is opportunity. He's getting 30 carries a game.
Yeah, this comes with him working with Amir on some of them moves he does. Those moves he does, that's him working with Amir in the summer when we have those camps and Amir shows him something. This over the last year and a half, Bock, not just 2 years ago.
Yeah, but look at Emmett
Dante
Johnson.
still was a better back.
Dante was not.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
I know that you're going to stick with that, but that's just not the case. Emmett Johnson flourished, as we know, once Coach Holgorsen got in.
He's a guy that I give him credit. He shocked me, Bock. I mean, I love EJ. I can text him right now, and he'll text me back. But I didn't expect this out of EJ. I didn't. And the reward for this, go to the NFL. That's the reward. Let's you break the bank with $18.90 and make them give them what you want. That's the only way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the way. You got to. I mean, I'm thinking somewhere around $2 million.
You got to give him something
to keep Emmett Johnson around.
You're giving Dylan Raiola 2.5 or 3.5.
Yeah.
You need to give. He's the MVP of this team.
Well, and that's what they would say, historically or specifically right now. That would be too much. You're overpaying in the market for a running back. Well, Nebraska doesn't have anything else. If you lose Emmett Johnson, what are you building off of going into next year? Certainly not much there at running back as far as, given that opportunity, being able to show that, like you said, the wide receivers, kind of where they have been. Again, maybe better blocking, the offensive line, tight ends, quarterback's a whole drama of a situation. Again, I think TJ Lateef has fallen off considerably, at least in Nebraska's fans' minds, of where they need to go moving forward. Specifically, if Dylan Raiola did transfer, I just don't know if you want to go through this, when you're in year 4, and I mean, the pressure is going to be on. I don't think Matt Rule is going to enter next year on the quote unquote hot seat, but I think he'll probably be somewhere between, I don't know, 8th and 10th in the nation. He'll be on those lists, just on the back end of those lists. As that season progresses, if they do not get if they don't meet expectations, it will become a pretty hot seat next year. And so to prepare for that, can you go into next year with a sophomore quarterback that started a few games and showed some promise, but had other games where he struggled? Or do you need to go to the transfer portal? Again, all this is if Dylan leaves. And maybe Dylan won't leave, but this is where, again, the state of the program is just kind of in this just wish-wash. I mean, this is every college football team to a degree. We've seen Lane Kiffin, the drama going around it now at this point in the season, specifically this weekend, kind of wrapping up the regular season. Everybody's in a little bit of a mix, but Nebraska is in a big bind in a mix because they, in addition to the transfer portal and the future decisions and all that sort of stuff, and now the firing, is the fact that Nebraska has zero momentum. In fact, the opposite of it heading into this. So, it's going to maybe push some people to make decisions that they think are better for them outside of Lincoln.
Well, Bock, the seat is warm right now. He's sitting on a warm seat. You definitely be hot if you go out on a 3-game losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
And the schedule doesn't get any easier. It doesn't justify anything for him next year because, you can say, hey, the first 4 games are who? First 3 games.
Well, I mean, their non-con games are going to be, Ohio's and stuff like that. You don't have Houston Christians on your schedule. You've got Ohio, Bowling Green, North Dakota. I think we'll see what happens with Bowling Green, but you expect a fight in the very least out of Ohio and North Dakota. But from there, again, you've got 9 conference games. 6 of those will be against 6 of the top 8 teams that finish in the standings this year. 3 of those specifically will be against teams that are making the playoffs this year in Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana. Of course, 2 of those, the top ranked teams in the country right now. And then, like I said, Iowa, Illinois, and Washington all finishing in the top 8 of the Big Ten this year. Thank God for a few games against Michigan State and Maryland and Rutgers. But Michigan State, if they get Pat Fitzgerald, we'll see what happens with Maryland. They were a young team. Rutgers was this close to a bowl game. Didn't ultimately happen. I'm not saying those are incredible challenges, but it's just so much more significantly difficult than this year's schedule. That's why this year was kind of the year to take advantage of that. And maybe they did as far as getting to a bowl game and going 7-5. But obviously a little bit more than that was expected.
Yeah, I think it's time. When we listened to Matt Rule earlier in the year and he talked about a lot of different colleges coming to see how they ran things at Nebraska. You remember that part, Bob?
Yeah.
Well, now I think it's time for us to go visit some of the other top programs in the nation to see how they run their practices, see how they get more physical, because I don't think we understand how physical the Big Ten is because we're not a physical football team. And that's probably one of the main reasons why we're Nebraska right now, why we've been that team, because we was physical. This team's not physical. It's not that physical. I think we need to I'm not saying start over, because we can't afford to start over. I mean, we have to get somebody in here. We got to get I think we need a young defensive coordinator with someone that's probably on the same page as Eckler when it comes to being a hype person. You know what I'm saying, Bob?
Yeah, that could be
like being more involved with the kid part of it, with keeping them excited on the sideline, because this Nebraska team, there's no excitement on this sideline, Bach. I don't see coaches talking to players after they run off on the series or after touchdowns or after Iowa scored 40 points. Everybody they look confused, really confused.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably more dancing at the sidelines at the beginning of the game than there was toward the end.
If I was the coach, I said, if I see one of y'all dance, you'll never play here again. Never play again. Not here. Too much dancing. Yeah. I think they talked about that before the game. Rashawn said that on TikTok. Some guy tried to say something to Rashawn, and I went and attacked that guy. I said, hey, you don't talk to my friend like that.
Yeah, I mean, and at times, again, that maybe you can be over speculating or maybe over critical, so I get that side of it about dancing before the game, kind of get your energy going, that sort of thing. But I remember, for John's point, why are they dancing? They just got destroyed by Penn State. This is your last chance against the Iowa team that burned. You should be laser focused at that point. But I hate to say it, I don't think you're going to stop this generation from dancing.
Bob on text line said you have to give a coach 5 years. It takes that long to build depth on your line. Still not sure Rule will be here for year 6. He's lost the coaching talent he had on defense last year. Bob. Well, Bob, you ever heard of Kurt Signetti?
Yeah, I don't think 5 years. I get what he's saying. That's kind of an older thought, though.
That's 2010 football.
Well, because there's the transfer portal. You're supposed to be able to turn it around. You don't. It's necessarily not as much kind of as long term. Develop the young class. Now, Rule does have that going for him, because that's one of the younger teams, and he had some bigger classes there at the end, and so hopefully he can see that. But I don't think. I was astonished that Scott Frost got year 5. Obviously, Mike Riley didn't make it long into year 3. So, I mean, situation will play out. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think that's the least.
I don't
most
think we
coaches
have
are
5
getting.
years.
I mean, Jonathan Smith got fired after 2. I think the leash is getting shorter nowadays with the NIL. Excuse me, the transfer portal specifically, and that you should be able to build up a team quicker.
Didn't take Vanderbilt 5 years. Didn't take Indiana 5 years.
It did take Clark Lee a long time to get that going.
Yeah.
So there's some. I mean, it's not completely wrong. There's some.
I mean, you're right.
Examples
but
of it.
We don't have 5 years with the transfer portal, Bob, and the money you're asking for. You could turn it around in 1 year if you get the right players.
Well,
but if you don't,
get
the right players, then you're a Tennessee team. But if you get the right team, you're a Texas Tech.
Well, and again, I think you could see it coming too. As part of that, those 5 years is where is this?
Have you ever been to Texas Tech?
Better. Lubbock, I have not.
Yeah. So how did they get like this? Besides spending money,
that's it.
That's it. That's it. Because if you ever been to Lubbock, Texas, there's nothing there, Bob. There's nothing there, and they had to spend quite a get them. Hey, they had to. This is a paid for team right here.
It is.
But you know what? They make it to the playoffs. That's the only thing we want. We can make it to the playoffs 1 year, Bob. I wouldn't care another 30 years.
I wouldn't go that far. Right?
I would,
no more
but,
30-year promises here.
Yeah, but as long as
we've
made
been through that.
All right, Bob, let's go to break. And when we come back, the Lane train pulling up in LSU. If you didn't see the video of the people at the airport that was from Ole Miss, you hate to see Mississippi people mad at you. 93.7 The Ticket, Bock and the Black Shirt. We'll be right back.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Verne as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new Delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get 1 half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your Graze table today at grazingouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
I'm Steve Carper, and I'm here to tell you that there's never been a better time to buy flooring. Whether you need carpet, wood flooring, ceramic tile, vinyl, area rugs, or custom blinds, you gotta come to O Street Carpet. With our 12-month interest-free financing, you can do one room or your whole house and leave your holiday budget intact. And with our huge in-stock selection, you can buy today and we'll install it right away. 1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime and so much more when you join today. You heard that right. Conquer the stair climber with your partner in climb. Enjoy a post-workout recovery session in the hydro massage and do it all again with access to any of our 2,700 plus convenient locations. So, you coming? Get all the perks with a PF Black Card for $1 down and $24.99 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, December 5th. See Club for details.
You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Bock and the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. We're on from Monday through Friday from 1 to 3. We are powered
by
Bauer,
Infrastructure,
Bauer,
Underground,
Brad,
Excavating.
All right, folks, it wouldn't be fair for me not to say that Bock won this weekend. Bock, go ahead and do the pick'em since we can get this out the way and let everybody know how you did this weekend.
Yeah, it's very important because Terrell last week was parading around like he had already had one. We just needed one bad week from him. We got it. We picked 10 games. Should have picked 20 to really let him sit in it. But 4-6 this week for Terrell. He did pick Texas A&M to beat Texas. So, Texas to beat Texas A&M. So you get that on your mantle. But overall, not very good. I was several games back, so I needed this week to take advantage of Terrell's mistakes. I went 8-2, so very happy with that. Kenny Wilhite 7-3, and the text line 7-3, and that's very important for the text line because now the text line is just one game behind Terrell for the season. I'm 3 games behind, so now after last week, I thought I might be getting close to the end. Now it's anybody's ball game. I'm within striking range, and the text line certainly is as well.
Well, first of all, congratulations to you, Bock. I would like to tell you that.
I appreciate that.
You won't catch me slipping again. There will be no more stupid picks out of me. Like I gave you the chance. I really should have picked Iowa. I know that picking the Huskers. I tried to bleed red, Bock.
Yeah.
So in that time, it should have been yellow and black. But as we come down to the championship weekend and bowl game weekend, this is going to be the next month is going to be a tough month for everybody. So only thing I can tell you to do is that, get your picks right and don't be last at the end of the year.
That's right. The most important thing is not to win. It's just not to lose.
Yeah, just not to lose. All right, Bock, we seen a rash of coaches changing directions in college football. We'll start with Lane Kiffin, man, who left Ole Miss, who was 10-1, to go to LSU, who's they're 7-5?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we seen that, and if you didn't see the part where he was leaving the airport at Ole Miss to go to LSU, then you need to look it up on Twitter or X or any social media. They really gave it to him. In another news, we got Michigan State hiring Pat Fitzgerald as their new coach. He hops right back into Big Ten land, and I think he got more resources at Michigan State than he does at Northwestern. So it'll be interesting to see how they do next year at Michigan State. The Florida Gators hire what coach was that? John Summerall from who was Tulane?
Yeah.
Hired him as the new coach. He starts off I think he gets 7.5 per year with significant incentives tied to the college football.
Which is, it's funny, by the way, because they were hoping for Lane Kiffin. They ended up getting John Summerall, which again, on its own, may be a good hire, but Florida fans are a little uneasy because Billy Napier kind of is the same group of 5 route. So
yeah,
we'll see. They probably did not get the top pick, which would have been Lane Kiffin.
All right. Who else we got, Bob?
There was a litany of them. Ole Miss decided to go on with Pete Golding, their defensive coordinator, who will be coaching for this playoffs as well. Which I did want to bring that up too, because there's an interesting.
Is Golden the same coach that was at Southern Miss?
No, I think this is his first. This is his first stint as a head coach.
Oh, okay.
But this was just released here within the last hour or so. Lane Kiffin's contract with LSU includes the unique clause that he will receive a payment equal to the amount he would have earned for coaching Ole Miss in the upcoming college football playoff. What makes that interesting is that the further the Rebels go in the playoff this year without Lane Kiffin coaching, the more money he'll make up based off it anyway. So that was kind of the hope, I suppose, for him to stay at Ole Miss, as there was extra money there. Obviously, the chance to win a championship maybe would have been bigger than that. But so if Ole Miss, if they just participate in the first round, he'll get $150,000 from LSU. If Ole Miss wins and goes into the quarterfinals, to get $250,000 from LSU. And if they end up winning the national championship, LSU will pay Lane Kiffin $1 million more. So very strange, but kind of understanding given the situation that's there.
So Arkansas hired Ryan Silverfield. Auburn hired Alex Goulash. We did say John Summerall, Pete Golden. Bob Chesney. Who is that, Bob? What school is he at?
So let me go through it here, because now I'm getting, I think it's James Madison. Bob Chesney was, I think it was the one that took over for Coach Signetti at James Madison. And they went 11-1 this past year.
And what's UCLA? Did I say that?
Yeah, out at UCLA, new Big Ten coach.
Yeah. I don't see the rest of the list, Bob.
Yeah, I could see if I could pull it up here. But it was interesting. So, like you said, UCLA's Bob Chesney, LSU Lane Kiffin, obviously, Florida and John Summerall. We went through Arkansas and Memphis, Ryan Silverfield.
Penn State. I don't know what they're waiting for.
Yeah.
I think they go get the NFL. What's the NFL guy name? Offensive coordinator. They coached at LSU.
Yeah, I know. Joe Brady.
Joe Brady. I think they go get Joe Brady.
That's what's interesting, is because all these names kind of come filtering out. Either Penn State is kind of having their Bill Callahan moment, where if you remember, in that coaching search lasts forever. All these teams fired their coaches after Penn State did, seemingly so Penn State could get the jump on getting some of the top names. Now, maybe they just struck out with the top names, whatever the case may be there, but all these other teams are making the hires because signing date's a few days away. Transfer portals around the window. Head coaching or assistant coaching cycles are starting. So, this is the time to make the move. We'll see. Maybe Penn State feels comfortable with where they're at with their interim coach, or at least comfortable enough with him to coach until, an NFL move needs to be made, or somebody from the NFL, which is why you might wait longer. But man, that is not a great look for Penn State right now. The only other hire that I did want to mention was Tavita Pritchard at Stanford. That's an interesting one because remember, their GM is Andrew Luck. I believe Pritchard was the quarterback basically before Andrew Luck was there. So this was more of a, hey, this is a Stanford guy type of hire than, what's based on his resume. So that one particularly will be interesting.
Bock, do you think he takes half of that team with him? I guarantee you.
As in Lane Kiffin?
Yeah. I guarantee you, Keywan Lacey will probably go.
We'll see. I mean, a lot of it's going to depend on Ole Miss's success and what they do, with Pete Golding here in the playoffs. I do think you'll probably, I don't want to go with half the team, but I do think you'll probably see a few people follow him.
He was already talking about a wide receiver box, so you should have seen that part. Oh, he's not developed yet. He's going to be another couple of players. Hunter said, didn't some players show anger towards how he left? I mean, he wanted to coach that team, Bob, but they, as a university, didn't want it to happen.
Well, yeah, again, because I mean, you can't have the active LSU coach, sitting LSU coach your team at Ole Miss, or maybe you could. Again, this was interesting just to see how it all played out because you could see it coming from weeks away. You got to give Lane Kiffin a little bit of credit, and right now he's not getting a whole lot for winning those games despite having his eyes elsewhere, right? But still continuing to win those games at Ole Miss.
He knew all the time where he was going.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, certainly they had the family visits to Gainesville and to Baton Rouge. You end up going to Baton Rouge, and I kind of like it too because Lane Kiffin had kind of moved from, he was at once kind of the bad spoiled child of college football, and then over the years, especially at Ole Miss, kind of revived his image into kind of a funny guy, can get away with saying things, runs his program the way that he wants to, but really just a fun guy in college football because he'll give you the truth. And now he's back in villain territory. And so I kind of like it. The Lane Kiffin as the villain is kind of fun. But how much of this is a Lane Kiffin problem and that he didn't, iron out everything that he needed to before making the decision? How much of that is on Ole Miss? If I'm them, I wouldn't let him continue coaching in the playoffs either if he's not returning as your coach. So it's understandable. How much of this is a college football problem?
This is a college football problem.
Yeah.
This is not just a Lane Kiffin problem. This problem been going on since the transfer portal was made available. This been going on since you started paying players. So, I mean, coaches been leaving all the time like this, Bob. Not at a rate like this, but I think when we talk about college coaches, the average you're probably going to see a coach stay is 3 to 4 years in a program and move on.
Well, but it's also just,
especially the up and coming coaches.
Yeah, it's just what we haven't seen is because the playoffs are relatively new. Somebody leave before their chance to win a national championship, and that was the weird thing about this is that Lane Kiffin is leaving his opportunity to win a national championship now in hopes for a national championship down the line. Now, to your point, not all these coaching vacancies are built equally. A 7-5 LSU team is not as down, trodden as the Stanford job, obviously. So, Oregon State, some of those job openings. So, I mean, I think that he can probably turn around and compete rather quickly at LSU, but it's just, it's one of those deals where, especially when you go to Lane Kiffin now, and if anything ever happens with his players making other decisions outside the transfer portal, is what's more important, winning or money? Well, very clearly, Lane Kiffin made the choice for money because your chance to win, your best chance as a head coach in college football to win a national championship for Lane Kiffin would be now at Ole Miss.
No, I don't think it was money part, Bob. He's been a lot of places, so he's been coaching for a long time. Money's there.
He's going to make close to $12 million a year.
Yeah,
but what else could it be if you're leaving your chance at a championship?
Well, to go after it every year in LSU, that's probably one of the things because, you have better recruiting. Really is next door, obviously, to each other when you look at the states. But, probably fan base, where you want to end your career at. I mean, nothing's set in stone about where you retire at.
Well, I mean, he would have had statues built at Ole Miss. If he struggles around for 2.5 years at LSU, he'll be chased out of town.
I don't think they'd chase him out. They'll just give him time. 93.7 The Ticket, Bock the Black Shirt. We'll be right back.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, and family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetable, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today. Your Christmas list changes a lot as you get older. Dreams of video games, remote-controlled cars, and baseball gloves turn into dreams of shoes. You know, practical things. Brown's Shoe Fit is the king of shoes in Lincoln, with brands like Sorel, UGG, Brooks, Hoka, and more to make you fashionable and comfortable. Grab a new Ridge wallet or buy 3 get 1 free on Smart Wool socks for the ultimate stocking stuffer. And don't forget a reliable gift card for that hard-to-buy-for person in your life. Brown's Shoe Fit at 66th and Q in Lincoln.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime and so much more when you join today. You heard that right. Conquer the stair climber with your partner in climb. Enjoy a post-workout recovery session in the hydro massage and do it all again with access to any of our 2,700 plus convenient locations. So, you coming? Get all the perks with a PF Black Card for $1 down and $24.99 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, December 5th. See Club for details.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of snow this morning, then probably sunny skies this afternoon. We'll see a high around 24. Tonight, decreasing cloud cover and calm winds, a low around 7. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze, an afternoon high near 34. I'm meteorologist Kyle Butler for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at coppellcars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
You're listening to Bock the Blackshirt on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Bock the Blackshirt, 93.7 The Ticket. Bock the Blackshirt here. Bock, we got some good games this weekend, Bock. If you talk about the 4 games we can pick this weekend, or 5, we have to put them 5 on there. North Texas versus Tulane. 11-1 North Texas versus 10-2 Tulane. This for the group of 5 school, isn't it?
Well, it's interesting because they're actually good. We'll see what the rankings come out with. But because Duke made the ACC championship game as the 7-5 team, if they upend 18th ranked Virginia, you could actually have, remember that it's the top 5 conference champions get in. That does not necessarily mean it has to be from the Big Ten, SEC, ACC, and Big 12. So if Duke is the ACC champion at 8-5, they likely won't get in. And that means that you might have 2 group of 5 champions get in. So very interesting there. And there is also, at least, and I don't know, this is not recent because all these teams have had losses. There is a thought out there that that maybe a group of 5 teams should not get in unless they're undefeated. You don't have any of that necessarily at play. But with North Texas at Tulane, James Madison playing a championship game this weekend as well. These teams, I don't know if their coaches are going to stick around, but they've already accepted other jobs. So we could have potentially a few different teams in the college football playoff without head coaches that started the season as head coaches.
All right, Bob, we got number 11 BYU at number 5 Texas Tech. Texas Tech beat BYU early in the season. Could this be a revenge game?
It could be, but the thing is that Texas Tech has rolled over everybody. So beating BYU 29-7 was a big win. Didn't necessarily look like an even match on the field. I don't know if there's anybody to necessarily play with Texas Tech. So it's hard to beat a team twice unless that team's better than you. I think Texas Tech is considerably better than BYU. BYU is a fun story. With just that one loss, it has been fun. But if they lose twice to Texas Tech, some of their close games, I don't think that they'll get into the playoffs. Texas Tech, however, could probably afford the loss, and then you get 2 bids out of the Big 12. Remember, Texas Tech's only loss was to Arizona State at Arizona State. That was when Arizona State still had their quarterback, Sam Leavitt, who was kind of in and out of the lineup, but that week was in. So interesting there. I think Texas Tech's in regardless. BYU needs a win.
All right, Georgia seeks revenge against Alabama. 10-2 Alabama, 11-1 Georgia, the SEC championship Saturday, 3 p.m., Bob.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Georgia, again, probably in. Are they going to get, the first round bye? That's probably at stake for them. They have had a problem as a program beating Alabama. So as you mentioned, that's their one loss on the year. Alabama's very interesting in this situation is that if they lose this game and fall to 10-3, are they penalized for playing in the SEC championship game where they were otherwise probably, if they don't play in it, go 10-2 and get in? So a lot to kind of be filtered out there, and we'll see what the arguments are coming out of it. But a 10-3 Alabama team, do you think deserves to get in compared to a 10-2 team?
Well, I'll tell you what, a 7-5 Duke showed up.
Well, they won't get in. Yeah.
Yeah, Duke versus Virginia. That one didn't the granddaddy of them all. Indiana versus Ohio State. This is the game everybody been wanting to see, Bock. I still think whoever loses will be a top team, and you have two teams from the probably get a bye.
Yeah, I think both teams get a bye. And again, this is part of the problem here. Kirby Smart was talking about it. It's like, when I was a kid, the SEC championship game was the game of all games. And you want to think the same thing about the Big Ten, but you just kind of think, okay, well, what's on the line? Well, for Indiana, I mean, there's so much history. If they could win a Big Ten championship, that would be huge. So it's kind of interesting to kind of view it through that lens. But as far as who has a better odds of winning a national championship after that game, I don't think it necessarily changes a whole lot. So, it just kind of interesting. But I think the Heisman could come down to that. We'll see if Mendoza and Julian Sain are kind of the finalists for that. It is going to determine who is going to finish the regular season undefeated, the only team. But again, that happened last year with your only undefeated regular season team being undefeated Oregon, and they lost in the playoffs. So, yeah, I mean, like you said, granddaddy of them all, but typically that phrase is reserved for the Rose Bowl. But as far as 1 versus 2, that I kind of just feels like there could be a little bit more stakes on the line because both teams are probably receiving a bye in the playoff either way.
Bock, is Ryan Day wrong for not letting his players plant the flag in Michigan when Michigan was able to plant the flag on their home field?
Absolutely not. I think they did a good job this week as opposed to last year around this time was just flag planting and brawls and all that everywhere. And while entertaining, it's probably not the best for everybody involved. So I think the best, plan, especially when you're Ohio State, and I get it, you might want to get kind of some revenge there. But at some point, as a program, they should be looking down at Michigan. The upset victories and the hey, this makes our program this or that. Reserve that for little brother Michigan. You're Ohio State. You're supposed to win that game. You finally did. Don't make some big statement about it because that's not the goal. That's not the big goal entering the season for the Buckeyes. It's to defend that championship.
All right, Bock, one more last one before we go. Dirty Tony and the boys said, would Tulane beat Nebraska?
I think so.
He said, if the answer is yes, then what are we doing? I don't know. I think a lot of teams beat Nebraska. I think these kids need to really take I don't know. Do they have players-only meetings around here these days, Bock? Because, if you don't have it in you, you don't have it in you. You can't make this team be something that we want them to be. I think at the end of the day, they all need to look themselves in the face. Also, Matt Rule needs to look himself in the face in the mirror and say, what can I do better? Go back and look at some old Nebraska games and see how tough we were. That'll make you better. 93.7 The Ticket. Bock the Blackshirt. We out.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime and so much more when you join today. You heard that right. Conquer the stair climber with your partner in climb. Enjoy a post-workout recovery session in the hydro massage and do it all again with access to any of our 2,700 plus convenient locations. So, you coming? Get all the perks with a PF Black Card for $1 down and $24.99 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, December 5th. See club for details.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat,